StrayAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgame.com, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Topic of this video is immediately versus finally. If you are familiar with my material and you hear the stuff that I talk about in these videos or my masterclass or any of my written stuff, one of the things that I'm always emphasizing and stressing on is our use of time. Eliminating procrastination, eliminating the space between idea and action, and acting with a sense of urgency when we do finally get around to taking some action. And what I want to juxtapose here is the difference between how successful people behave and how less than successful people behave, in that successful people do immediately what less successful people do finally. And what you want to do is, actually before I even get to that, is just think about what that means. A successful person, when they see something that needs to be done and they know that they're going to do it, they do it immediately. I'm going to do it, I'll do it right now. Let me just take care of it right now and get to it. And they do this as a habit, not because the thing that they're doing is necessarily a life or death thing. Most of the time, most of the things we do are not life or death, but because they have this ingrained sense of urgency of just getting to things because they know they're going to get to them anyway, they just get to them now. Because they have this mindset, they get to things right now. Whereas less successful people, or people who are not as successful, or if you want to call them unsuccessful people, they get to things finally. All right, they're finally getting around to doing that thing that they should have did a long time ago, should have did months ago, years ago, yesterday. They finally get around to it, usually because some type of circumstance forces their hand and makes them do something. And this is you don't want to be the type of person for whom things happen in your life because your hand was forced and you had to go do something. You want to be the type of person who just goes and gets things done even when it is not being forced upon you and nobody's making you do it. You just go and get stuff done. That's the type of person that you want to be. And you want to be this type of person based on building a habit. Again, this is the habit that you want to build inside of yourself. You just get stuff done because you know it needs to be done, not because it is forced upon you right now, not necessarily because it is an emergency. Again, things don't have to be an emergency. And this is a common phraseology, common verbiage that I hear people use when someone like myself, because I'm the type of person who will tell somebody, hey, let's just take care of it right now. No, it's not a life or death thing. No, it's not an emergency, but we know it needs to be taken care of, so let's just take care of it right now. And when I say this type of thing to certain people, here's something that they'll say back. They'll say, well, is it an emergency? Like, do I have to do it right now? Is it really that important that I have to do it right now, immediately, at the moment? Like, what would be so wrong if I did this in an hour? What would be so wrong if I did it tomorrow? What if I did it later? Why do I have to do it right now? This kind of language, if you ever have been guilty of using this language, I'm warning you right now, delete this from your vocabulary. Delete this language from your vocabulary, because this is the language of delay. It's the language of procrastination. It's the language of a lack of urgency. It's the language of doing things later. The problem with doing things later, procrastinating, and having a lack of urgency, everybody, is that you are gambling with your life. You're gambling that you will have time to do things later. You will have time to procrastinate. You will have time to get to it tomorrow, when there is no guarantee that that time will even be there. So you don't want to be doing this, and you need to stop thinking like this. If you think it to yourself, you need to stop talking like this. If you go as far as even saying these kind of things, do them now. You know it needs to be done, do it now. And this, again, is a habit. It's not about the activity itself so much. It's about building the muscle inside of yourself that when you know something needs to be done, you get to it immediately. And as you build that habit, you will find yourself condensing your time frames, which means the space of time between when you decide something is going to happen or you want to do something and the time that it actually happens, you'll find that time gets smaller and smaller. And that's what you want. You want to get to the point where damn near everything that happens in your life, as soon as you think about it, is done. It immediately happens. Not you think about it and then you do it 3 weeks later. You think about it and you do it in an hour. You think about it and it happens 5 years from now. You want to condense that time frame to where there is no gap between the thought an immediate activity to make it go and occur. Why do you do this? Why does this matter? Because again, none of us knows how much time we have left. So every time you put a delay of time in between a thought and an action, you are guessing, literally gambling, that you will have time to get to it later. Like, nobody is guaranteed later. Any of you watching this video, you're not guaranteed tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. So if you say you're going to do something next month, you're gambling that you're going to be here next month. But if you did it immediately, well, it's done right now. So you're not gambling anymore because you're doing it right now in the moment with respect to the fact that you are unaware of exactly how much time you have left. And that's a reality for most human beings, unless you're planning on committing the suicide. Otherwise, we don't know how much time we got, right? So you need to act as if you understand this, right? That you logically understand it and emotionally understand it. And that is what's going to move you to start acting with this mentality. So again, the point is, immediately versus finally. Successful people do things immediately. Unsuccessful people do things finally because something makes them do it. Whereas successful people do things because they make themselves do it. High-level people make themselves take action and do things, whereas unsuccessful people have to wait until a circumstance forces them to take action. That doesn't mean that as a successful person that you have to do everything by yourself. That doesn't even mean that the things that you take action on immediately are immediately done by you. You can have a staff and have them do it. You can have somebody working for you and have them take care of it. You could call somebody and pay them to do it. So let's say you decide, hey, I need the grass cut at my house. You could call the landscaper and have them come to your house and have them come to your house tomorrow to cut the grass. But you immediately took care of it. So just because I'm saying successful people do things immediately doesn't mean that successful people do things by themselves. That's actually the opposite. The more successful the person, actually, the more stuff that they offload and have other people do besides themselves, because what makes them successful is not that they do everything. What makes them successful is that they know what they're great at and they do that stuff, and they know what they're not great at and they don't do that stuff. So don't get those ideas mixed up. So with all that said, folks, Work on Your Game University is the place where I do my coaching. If you would like to have me as your direct coach, what we just talked about here, mindset, this also goes into strategy. Then it goes into systematizing how we get things done, and then the accountability for full implementation. The whole point of what we do in our program is to help you perform at your highest level, do it consistently, and of course produce results in your life. And those results can be business-related results, positive mindset-related results, and everything that comes in between that. But everybody wants results in life because we are in a results-based business. So hopefully you want results. Otherwise, you're not doing good business. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Links down below in the description to this video. Work on your game. Dre all day.